Well, after last night's tough loss to the Tampa Bay Rays, which was really over in the first inning after the 3-run home run by Randy Arozarena, the Yankees have made a roster move to try and inject some life into this team. They're calling up Oswaldo Cabrera. He is a 23-year-old shortstop prospect. He's a switch hitter. He can play all over the infield. Last season in the minor leagues, he had 29 home runs and 89 RBIs. He hit .272 with an .863 OPS. So far this season, the numbers have not been as good, but he was injured for a large portion of the season, and he's recently come back and he's been hitting like gangbusters, red hot. So far this year, .262 with 8 home runs and 29 RBIs at AAA. That's in 183 at-bats, 47 games. He did have a couple of games at Single A and rookie ball as he rehabbed his way back. But Oswaldo Cabrera is getting the call. The team is definitely a little bit banged up right now. Clay Holmes is headed to the IL. Now, Clay Holmes has been struggling out of the bullpen, and he says that his back has become an issue. It just grabbed the other day. One thing that I've thought about is maybe he's had a little bit of back issues that he really wasn't aware of or thought that he could pitch through, and that might be affecting the release point on his pitches. That could be a reason why he struggled so much, although it's more likely that it's just grip and mechanics. But fingers crossed that a little bit of time on the IL can get Clay Holmes back to where he was, because he's a big reason why the Yankees got off to such a great start, and he's going to be a big factor if they get to the postseason. So I'm saying if they get to the postseason now, because this 9-game lead is anything but a sure thing at this point. Now, this video is coming out on August 17th, but I think we might see some more guys called up. August 18th is the service time deadline, after which if you call somebody up, they do not receive an entire year of service time. So you might see guys like Oswald Peraza get called up, not to be confused with Oswaldo Cabrera. I know we got a lot of Oswalds in here, and you have to think that with Cabrera Florial getting the call as well, that Aaron Hicks's days might be numbered. We talked about Florial on the show last night. He's a guy who has been a prospect for the Yankees for many, many years. He's finally putting it together in the minor leagues. A little bit of power, hitting in the 280s. He's got a bunch of stolen bases. He's definitely going to inject some life. Now, he does strike out quite a bit, so I would temper your expectations. But there's a chance that he could get the Yankees headed in the right direction, at least over the next couple of weeks, until you start to get some of the regulars back and healthy. The Baders, the Giancarlo Stantons. So I wanted to get to your voicemails today, and without further ado, let's hear what the audience has to say.
Yeah, say it's Shane out here in Idaho. Hey, I figured Gallo must have put a curse when he left the Yanks, put a curse on the Yanks by saying something like, they'll never win anything. Something like that. Hey, last night you said the shortstop should be traded for outfield help. Also catching, I think we should try to bolster our catching with some of our outfield shortstop prospects.
Hey, thanks for the call, Shane. So what I was getting at last night was that the Yankees kind of have an imbalance in their minor league system in that all of their best prospects seem to be stacked up as shortstops, with the exception of Jason Dominguez. I mean, you look at, Cabrera, and then Peraza, Volpe, Sweeney, Arias. That's 5 shortstops that the Yankees have. And what I was suggesting was that, maybe at the trade deadline, you could have found a team that needed a shortstop prospect, but maybe has an abundant supply of outfield prospects. I'll be interested to see if they use Oswaldo Cabrera at all in the outfield. He's been kind of a versatile player. They've shown that they'll put Marwin Gonzalez out there, so why not put Oswaldo Cabrera? Same type of player. Cabrera's a little guy, too. He's about 5'8", but he's got massive power and a switch hitter. So this could be one way to solve that issue. But going back to the catching, Ben Rortvedt is somebody that the Yankees got before the season, and they also have Austin Wells. So they do have 2 pretty decent catchers in the minor leagues. Although Rortvedt has been injured most of the season, he's playing at AAA, and Austin Wells is a little bit further away at least the way the Yankees develop players. I mean, in some organizations he might already be in the major leagues, but for the Yankees, they're taking their time.
I have never seen anything like what we've been going through. This is amazing, and it's sick. I think the basic problem is, to get to the point, the organization, not just the players. We can't just examine them and say, here's what's right and here's what's wrong. Something is rotten in the state of Yankeedom, the organization itself. I don't know what it is. Probably a lot of blame should go to Cashman. He put this team together, as I understand it. Somebody needs to replace him.
You know, last year I was pretty tough on Cashman because the Yankees had a entire lineup stacked with right-handed hitters. And this year, the Yankees got off to a really good start. It looked like he had made the right corrections. And I started to feel like, okay, well, Cashman's earned my respect again. And I still respect Brian Cashman. It's hard to do this job for 20-plus years and stay competitive every year. The Yankees never really tank to get that top draft pick or whatever. And the way that Hal Steinbrenner seems to look at this is that it's a business. And that if the team is making money and being competitive in the standings year after year, and you can get fans hoping that the Yankees can go all the way, but never really pay for that, dominant ball club, it's a way to make money. And it seems like that's the direction he's going. And if Cashman continues that, then I see no reason that Hal Steinbrenner will get rid of him. I don't think Cashman's going anywhere until he decides he wants to go somewhere.
I think we'll get back to shape here in the next couple of days, looking at Aaron Judge going on a run. So that's my notes for Derek for you. And if you could you give any updates on Zach Britton? I know he's supposed to come back at some point, but no one's really talking about it, and I think his sinker would be great for us and help us leave some from Clay Holmes. So if you could touch on that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Zach Britton would be huge to get back if he could actually be the Zach Britton that we're used to. The issue is that when you're coming back from an injury, a lot of times the command is the last thing to come. And out of a relief pitcher where command is so vital, especially a sinker baller. We saw what happens when a sinker baller loses a little bit of command with Clay Holmes, also with Jonathan Loaizaga. Throws hard, but he mostly throws sinkers. If you can't locate that pitch perfectly, it either drops below the zone for a ball, or if your release point's a little high, you'll miss, up in the zone. And sinkers that are up in the zone are very hittable. So you got to be careful with him. I hope that they give him an extended rehab. And if he's throwing the ball well, yeah, sure, get him back. But if he's not all the way back, I don't think we're going to see him much.
Hi, Derek. This is Aaron from Chicago. For the last couple of years, at least, it seems like the Yankees have this philosophy for their hitters that, they should really just try and hit for power. Their batting average doesn't matter. And I really hate this approach that it seems like a lot of people on the team take. The last couple of years, if you look at the top home run hitters throughout the league, a lot of them still hit for average. Most of them are hitting above 250, if not above 270. So, you look at people like Torres and Donaldson, and they're just really frustrating to watch. Like, they're trying to take these big swings, and they're not connecting. They're not hitting for the power. They're not hitting other hits as well. And then you look at people like Rizzo and Stanton, too. I mean, they've had some really clutch hits this season, and, they get a lot of love for sure, and some of it's deserved. But still, look at their peers. A lot of the people who are hitting the same amount of home runs as them have averages that are 30 or 40 points better. They're hitting all those home runs, and they're also being productive with singles and doubles. So it's just been really frustrating to watch the hitting approach the Yankees for, a few years at least.
I have nothing to add. That was a great call. I feel the same way. I get tired of seeing guys hit 220, 230, even if they are hitting for power.
Hi, Derek. It's Ronaldo right here in New York. Hey, I don't think Boone is the problem. The problem is the players. If you don't hit, there's nothing that Boone can do. But I think we as a fan, we should start going to the stadium and maybe the owners and the Steinbrenner, he will show us some respect. Maybe when they see the whole stadium empty and they don't get enough money into their pockets, Maybe they show us some respect.
Good call. Hey, I'm seeing that the Yankees fans are leaving the stadium a little bit earlier recently. There was a time this year where everybody stayed until the final out because you felt like the Yankees were going to come back and win. But now the team falls down a little bit, and around the 7th, 8th inning, the crowd begins to thin out, and that definitely hurts them, affects them financially.
I can't blame Boone as much as I want to. What can he do? He might not control the lineups every game, and all he can do is make decisions in the game and give little pep talks that probably won't work. Cashman has long overstayed his due. He's gotten the Yankees into a similar situation to the Milwaukee Brewers, but a lot worse.
Another Cashman fan, I see. Thanks for the call, Sean. Appreciate it.
Hi, this is Uncle Huey. It's long since past time to get rid of Cashman. It will be interesting to see if Steinbrenner re-signs him. This is the 13th year without a world championship. It's time for him to go. Thank you.
Just one final thought on Cashman and on your call, Huey. The season isn't over yet. There's still a chance that we can win it all. I want to see the belief come back. The team does not look like they're playing with confidence right now, so obviously the fans are not very confident. But if we can get some guys healthy and go on a run, we can get that swagger back.
I think that we should give Peraza and Cabrera a shot in the big leagues. And Florial. We should give Florial a shot until, Bader comes back. Until Bader is ready to play. And it has to be in the back of Hicks' mind that we traded for an outfielder. But that shouldn't be an excuse but that should not be an excuse on why you're not performing.
Thanks for the call, Raekwon. Aaron Hicks' problem is simply that he just moves too much at the plate. His eyes are moving too much. It's hard to hit a baseball anyway. And when you're moving your head, you're moving your eyes, you're moving your whole body all over the place, it makes it a lot more difficult. I think that he would do well from completely revamping his approach at the plate. A new hitting coach, new organization, and just completely change the way he goes about his swing. And I think he would do fine. But I know personally, and I think a lot of fans would agree, don't have the patience to watch it happen here.